but we're going to go ahead and get started. And again, you know, when I started doing these things, I had no idea what I'd agreed to, because that happens with Tish. So I'm just telling you now, Ryan, be careful what you say yes to. I mean, it can lead to incredible things.
Right.
But all of a sudden you get to meet all these wonderful people and all these wonderful companies, and you find out all these things that are going on in our county, and it's a lot. It's a lot. And so hopefully we can do that again today. So if we need to use this, we will. Is that how you want me to use this?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. How about that? Whoa, man. We're live in Hancock County. All right. So, but anyway, so it's interesting, Tyonek, which, no offense, Ryan, I didn't hear about until Tish asked me to do this, so I'm sorry about that. And so I started reading about it, and Tyonek is actually a village 40 miles south of Anchorage. Right. And the name of the people means beach people. And I started thinking, well, that's kind of like Hancock County. And they still live off the land. They hunt, they fish. We used to do a lot of trapping here, so that's familiar. So that was all cool. Their name, the place actually, it's a name, a place, and identity. And I thought, well, it's kind of like Hancock County, right? I mean, we got that going. And also, this unfortunately we don't have. You can't reach it by car. Right. So the only way to reach Tyonek Village is by small plane, boat, and y'all, if there's no cell phone there, cell phone coverage, you know it's heaven, huh? So anyway, unfortunately, we're pretty well covered here with that. But look, just want to go ahead and start with Tyonek. And Ryan, if you don't mind, you know, we talked a little bit about this the other day, but can you tell us what Tyonek is and what it does and who it serves, please?
Yeah, thanks. So it's kind of interesting. You talk about why is there a company from Alaska in South Mississippi, right? And so the advantage lies in the fact that we're an Alaska Native-owned corporation, or an ANC. That's important because within the Small Business Administration, we have certain advantages over other organizations to where we can be direct awarded government contracts sole source without any sole source justification, right? So it doesn't get competed. That's a big deal in the DoD contracting world. It gives us a huge advantage, particularly over OEM, so like your Boeings, your Lockheeds, your Northrop Grummons and things like that. They're competing their contracts. So if the government has a requirement that they need to meet and we have the capability, they have the ability to award us a direct award contract and get to work, and sometimes within 90 days, right? Whereas other government contracts, if anybody in here is familiar with how that works, it sometimes can be up to 30 months before they can bring whatever capability it is that they need to whatever government service they're looking to do that with. And so you wonder, why is there Alaska Native Corporation in South Mississippi? Well, it's really where we were able to acquire some space at Stennis International Airport and leverage those advantages. And so if we have the ability to expand that, we'll go where we're welcome, and we just so happen to be welcome here at Stennis. And so that's kind of why we landed here. And what we're doing is government contracting primarily in the aviation sector.
Okay, cool. And also, there's another piece to why you're here, right?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, his wife's from here. He didn't really have a choice. That's where he came from. So y'all have about 245,000 square feet of space here and in Huntsville, right?
Correct, yeah.
Okay. So talk about the kind of customers you serve, if you can, the ones that you can talk about, because there was a list of them on your website.
Yeah. Yeah, so like I said, DoD contractor, I'm sure you could see out in the airfield, we have C-130s, there's F-18s, there's V-22s. So we will get contracts with the Department of the Air Force, Department of the Navy, any federal agency that has a requirement that we'll meet. Right now we have contracts with the Air Force and the Navy serving a multitude of platforms, and that's just here at Stennis. Tynek's a much larger organization than what you see here, right? We are closer to 1,900 employees across the United States. We have staffing contracts to support a lot of the Navy fleet readiness centers across Southwest, Southeast, Mid-Atlantic. So we're all over the United States. Our headquarters is in Huntsville, but this is one of our larger contractor-owned, contractor-operated sites, or it is the largest. And so we've got a great relationship with the U.S. Air Force. You see C-130s coming through here. They had a huge need to replace their propeller systems on their C-130H models. I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with the C-130 that crashed in North Mississippi a few years ago. They saw a need to get those propellers repaired and replaced, and we're the primary contractor to do that, and we've got a great relationship with them. And then again, we've got another relationship with the Navy. We're doing a lot of work with Navy, and supporting a lot of their domestic and foreign military sales efforts, and so a lot of customers.
So the one I didn't understand was, I grew up in the food business. Y'all deal with USDA customers? Can you talk about that at all? Is that with drones, or how does that work?
So I don't know a whole lot about our USDA contractor, but we've got all kinds of different customers across the United States. We've got aerostats out there, which are, they're blimps. They're doing testing on different sensor pods and things like that. We've got Customs and Border Patrol contracts where we're supporting their aircraft. I would imagine USDA's transport aircraft that we're working. Yeah, it's MD. So yeah, helicopters. So there's a lot of stuff that we're doing, and like I said, I don't know all of it. I know what we're doing here at Stennis. I know some of the other stuff nationwide, but you grow to 1,900 employees, you don't know everybody or everything that's happening. So it's growing rapidly.
Good. Okay. Dr. Barnes.
Yes.
Pearl River Community College. My first memories of Pearl River Community College, it was Pearl River Junior College back then.
Right.
My brother Tommy was playing football for y'all, and my dad would load us all up in that station wagon and take us up there for those games on Thursday night.
Right.
And I thought we were driving to Memphis.
That's right.
But can you tell us what's going on? You and I talked some, and there's a lot going on at Pearl River, but specifically about what's going on at Pearl River Community College, Hancock County campus.
Absolutely. Well, as you know, for the last, I guess the benchmark could be Katrina. We have been located down on Highway 90. Well, as fate would have it, we have now migrated up north of I-10. And in that process, we have come into two buildings from the ground up. We have a hangar that's housing our drone program, unmanned aerial systems. And it's also going to hold our aviation maintenance program. Both of those programs are already in the hangar, which is right down the road. We will have a chance to tour that facility at the conclusion of this conversation. And then right across the street, we're building our two-story building that's going to house other career technical programs. And it's going to also house our academic programs as well. And most of our operations, pretty much all of them, from Highway 90, they're going to migrate up into this new campus across the street. So, to make it short, we're moving everything north of I-10. It's centrally located, and we're going to provide opportunities for students to come and just, to leave our campus and go over to Stennis and fill some of those jobs. Maybe go with Boeing and some of these other aviation type of companies. We want to fill that void and make sure that our students here in Hancock County have access to higher paying jobs and opportunities that we didn't have when we graduated from high school. So basically, we want to give them access to a higher quality of life just by spending 2 years here at Pearl River Community College.
Okay, fair enough. And you and I talked about some of the programs that were going on, and y'all are working with some of the programs in high schools themselves, right? I mean, y'all are even doing some high school work right now.
Absolutely. We have dual enrollment, in all of our types of programs. Right. And we have dual enrollment classes. Students can come and take a large portion of their freshman and sophomore general education classes while they're still in high school. And they're able to check off the list of classes on the high school side and on the collegiate side. So when they come to us, we have students that come to us with so many hours that they spend maybe 2 semesters and they have an associate's degree. And some have even completed everything before they graduate high school. So you're right, we're doing programs to both with college-age students and with high school-age students.
Good. Okay, thank you.
Right.
All right, so thank you. And so, Dr. Barnes, you and I spoke first, and you're never sure why Tish put you in a room with somebody.
Right.
So we were talking about that, and we're trying to figure out what was the connection with Ryan. Well, then I talked to Ryan 2 days later, and I found the connection's pretty clear. So, Ryan, can you please tell us more about what Tyonek needs to thrive in Hancock County?
Yeah, so obviously these defense contracts I talk about, and you'll see some of this on the tour that we go on, we employ aviation maintenance technicians here. And so right at the inception of this Aerospace Academy, they kind of engaged with us regarding curriculum development. We have a repair station certificate here. Those are the types of things that Pearl River is trying to accomplish. And, quite frankly, we're the largest, aviation maintenance tenant here at Stennis. And so engaging with us was a kind of a natural fit. And so they said, hey, how do you need us to train them so that you can employ them when they graduate? What are the skills that they need? And so I got to work with Dr. Townsend and Dr. Barnes on their curriculum development, and that was great, and getting everything stood up. And hopefully, when they start graduating, these aviation maintenance technicians, they can start coming, we can maybe start an internship program, and we can start hiring them right out of the school, and so they can go to school here and walk across the street and start their new job as soon as they graduate. And so pretty strong connection, and hopefully it works out.
And you also mentioned hangar space, right? And so with this facility I read was 54,000 square feet. 18,000 of it or so was hangar space, right? So that should be to y'all's advantage as well.
Well, hangar space is, and it's a challenging thing, right? So to build a aerospace academy, you're working with a different pot of money when you're trying to develop it for contractors, right? And so hangar space is at a premium, and Blaine could talk till he's blue in the face about the challenges of trying to get hangars built and how to fill them and how to make it, tolerable economically for everybody. And it's it's a challenging math problem to solve, but ultimately there's a lot of room for development here at Stennis. We love that, and hopefully the more it grows, if there's a workforce present here, chances are the government's going to want to put their programs where there's a talent base. And if they see the talent base here, they see that we're already executing at a high level, it attracts more business, more industry, Sky Dweller, the different things that are coming here, and it just grows everything. It benefits everybody. And so, but yeah, hangar space is at a premium. It definitely benefits when hangars go up.
Okay, fair enough. So Vision First Advisor says we need at least 582 aerospace trained people to be able to fill jobs here. So, Dr. Barnes, you're about to have all the facility you need to do that, right?
Right.
But, if you're from Palo Alto, California, or you're from Cambridge, Massachusetts, you don't know that the space industry is in Hancock County, right? You just don't know. So Stennis and I are about the same age, Stennis Space Center. It was born in 61. I was born in 63. So I've known about it my whole life. But how do you get the message out that you can get that type of education and training in Hancock County?
Well, the message goes out by just producing quality aviation technicians. And that's our goal, partnering with Tyonek, making sure that our students have what they need to meet industry needs. And the proof is in the pudding. The best advertisement is word of mouth. And if we produce students like we know we're going to do, and they've been able to fall under the shadow of Tyonek, in their training and meeting those benchmarks that Tyonek has told us that need to be done, then we know that our name and our reputation will speak volumes for itself, and it won't be too long before the whole country will know that Hancock County is where it's happening.
So, how did you? I'm picking on you about your wife being here and stuff, but how did you find this place, and how do we keep these kind of jobs coming? Again, if Stennis has been there since '61, and when we were kids, we called it the test site, right?
Right.
But how do we keep these jobs coming in, and what does Hancock County and Mississippi need to do to make sure we keep this happening?
Yeah, it's a multi-part answer, right? It's not everybody in this room wishes they could solve that problem today, right? How did I find it? Just I joined the Navy, and I went to school in Pensacola, and I lived in Minnesota before that, and I determined that winter was optional. I knew I was never going back. So when I met my wife, and she happened to be from here, it worked out. And so I moved here not knowing that this place existed. I had no idea. I moved here. I had a job offer from Mobile. didn't want to go there, and ultimately I found this place, and I kind of showed up on the doorstep and said, hey, I'm your guy. You need to hire me out and what you're waiting for. So, unfortunately, it's not out there, and our name's not out there like the Boeings and the Northrop Grummans and things like that. And so, and additionally, when I looked up the job opportunity, it said Kill, Mississippi, and of course I said Kiln. I said Kiln, Mississippi. Where's that? I haven't heard of that. And so, ultimately it worked out, and I've been trying to recruit different skill sets to come back here. One of the things that everybody that comes and visits me says is that I had no idea that this is what Mississippi is here on the Gulf Coast. I just didn't know that the Gulf Coast was as pretty as it is, and the community is what it is. And so you just continue to bring awareness, doing what Tish is doing, and supporting the Chamber of Commerce, and getting that out there, and kind of building the reputation of Mississippi, so that when the veterans that are from Mississippi, they go and they join the service and they get out, they know that these jobs are available, and they want to come back to Mississippi after they get out of the service and it's available. I think that's a huge deal. We captured a lot of prior service members that come back to work here, and that's our main customer base, but employee base. But getting them to commit to come here, especially if they're not from here, is a huge challenge. And just kind of bringing awareness to what the community has to offer is the biggest advantage, because there's jobs everywhere, right? So what's the ancillary things that the community has to offer? And I think that goes a long way in getting customers or employees to come want to work here.
And Dr. Barnes, and obviously somebody's found us if you've seen real estate prices in Bay St. Louis and Ocean Springs, right? Somebody knows we're here. But Dr. Barnes, in your case, obviously we want to keep as many Mississippi kids as possible, but are y'all going to use this program to recruit nationally? Why not? Couldn't you bring people in from anywhere to do this?
Absolutely. The same way we advertise trying to find instructors nationally, we're going to put the word out, in different magazines and different media outlets in different areas, showing them that we have this program here. And not only do we have the program, we have somewhere to feed you a job. You can feed right into Stennis. You can feed right into Tyonek. And that was the whole concept of putting aviation in Hancock County. It fits well with Stennis. So we're going to make sure the word is out there, advertise it, come here to, if you want to be a drone pilot, come here. If you want to be an aviation maintenance technician, come here. And hydrography, we have hydrography as well. So we have those jobs, and putting it out there would just be another asset to Hancock County, but we will put it out there for everyone to see.
Very good. And one of my favorite lines is, to get to the moon, you have to go through Hancock County, Mississippi. That's just so cool, So I'm going to leave it to y'all for the last word. Anything else y'all want everybody to know before we open it up for questions?
No, just thanks for coming. Eyes open, kind of observe what's going on, and how it's impacting kind of our government customers, and how important that is, and the role that PRCC is going to play moving forward of building the kind of the footprint, a cluster, so to speak, down here is going to be enormous. We've got 3 or 4 technicians on staff right now that had never seen an airplane before they came to Tyonek, and we've trained them. They've been here for 7 years or so. We want more of those folks, and because they're committed to the community, and we want those types of folks here. And I think PRCC is going to be a huge part of that.
Not every student is Ole Miss interested. Not every student wants to go to law school. Some students want to get their hands dirty, and there's nothing wrong with that. And I think over the years we have been able to let the world know, in particular Mississippi, know that just because a student wants to come and take a career technical program does not mean that they're a failure. As a matter of fact, it's a great day when a student can come to Pearl River Community College, invest 2 years of their time, leave with an aviation maintenance technician certificate or degree, and go out here and make more money than what you make now. You understand? And I think that being able to have that here in Hancock County is a testament to what Pearl River stands for. It's a testament to what we're trying to do. And just knowing 2 years invested in this community college, tucked away here in South Mississippi, can give students, a doorway, a gateway into a promising career that can take them all over the world, because they can get their training here in Hancock County. We want to keep them in Hancock County, but if life changes and they go over to Minnesota, where it's cold, or California where it's hot, they got their start here in Hancock County. And having that ability to start here 2 years and to move on and do great things through Pearl River Community College, I believe we're doing something right. And I think providing these opportunities will just enhance it more, will make Hancock County more than what she is now.
And we were talking, if a plumber's not making $100,000 a year, then they're just not working full time, right? So what's wrong with working with your hands?
That's right.
My name is Vanessa Shadowlane. I am the career coach at the Hancock High School. Could you talk more about, and I used to say this word wrong, Tyonek. I say Tyonek, but Tyonek. Could you talk more about the training that you have? Like, let's say if I had some students that aren't interested in going to college, your program has not started yet. What do you have for those kids that are graduating in December, graduating in May, that are looking to work locally and get a high-paying job that you can get here and in this facility?
It's a great question, and it's challenging, right? So it depends what kind of contracts we have. That they kind of ebb and flow with what DoD needs. Obviously government contracts kind of ebb and flow with different administrations. And so, like right now, we have probably 4 or 5 aircraft technicians that came here and started as what we'd call an aircraft laborer, and they would start around $18 to $20 an hour, and they would go through a significant amount of on-the-job training, and ultimately, that's the best way that we're able to obtain local talent right now. But some of them don't, it's tough because some of them have families and supporting a family, single income home on, $18 an hour, sometimes tough. And so sometimes they don't stick with it. But we've got a few that have stuck with it. We've got one who's, he leads our prop team, and you'll see when we go into the hangar, they're building these propellers. It's very impressive what they're doing. He was not in the military. And he's now the lead of the prop team. He can go out there and sit in the left seat of that aircraft and run up the engines and has full control of the aircraft. But it took 7 years to get there, right? And so that's why I think having somebody come in with an accelerated knowledge of aviation, because there's a lot of things you got to know just to work in an aviation environment. It's not just, hey, are you good with tools? It's the administrative part of it. Tool control. We have on the verge of obsessive tool control here, where each tool is shadowed and etched and it's accounted for every day, twice a day. It's things like that they have to learn before we can trust them to work on an aircraft, because they can't have leaving a wrench in an area where there's flight control cables. And so it's learning that type of responsibility for the first couple of years. So when they come out of a program, that's a huge benefit. But if there's people that are interested, now that this Aerospace Academy is being built, we're going to start internship programs. And so there's potential that we can engage and start developing a relationship with the high school where if they're interested, then we can start developing those positions. Because right now our biggest employee base is just veterans that are getting out of the military and looking for this type of work. And but I would absolutely love nothing more than homegrown talent, because then they don't leave. They have a tendency to stay, and there's no less turnover. And so there's no simple answer, but the kids are going to have to be committed. Do they want to be in aviation? And that's the thing that you have to vet before they come here and commit to a entry-level job. Hopefully that answers your question. No, it's okay.
Hi, good morning. I'm Jennifer Johnston, and I'm with Gulf Coast Eco Tour. And my question is, with all of these wonderful things that you're bringing to Hancock County, is there any of your programs that somehow tie into conservation, or any of your learning programs that tie into conservation in any way? And then my other question would be is for my summer programs, is there any opportunity for some of these students that come down for engineering and STEM-based programs with me to tie in like a field trip day with your facility?
Let me answer the second part of your question first. Yes, there's plenty of opportunity to tie in those programs you have with us during the summertime. We have summer camps throughout the whole summer, for all of our young students. So that possibility is great. Just sitting down, having that conversation, having that dialogue, we could make some things happen. But your first question about conservation, we don't have anything with conservation per se. We have some things on the books that I'm not at liberty to say right this moment, but I think this time next semester we'll be able to answer it differently. But right now I have to say no, ma'am. Okay. All right.
I'll take 2 mics. Yeah, it's always great to highlight, I think, when I have this opportunity. I think it's great for Tyonek, it's great for Ryan, it's great for Dr. Barnes and PRCC. I think several of the questions, come back, in my opinion, back to Port and Harbor. What are we doing to support Tyonek? What are we doing to support workforce and these opportunities? So I think many of the things we talked about, hangar capacity, right? And so for us, working with our existing industries, working with Ryan, I want to give him kudos. Ryan, many of you probably wouldn't know, has really worked his way from the bottom up of this organization. But it's made our job easier from his knowledge, his understanding, but more importantly, because he married that Long Beach girl, it makes our job easier because he has ownership to Hancock County, to the Mississippi Gulf Coast. And so helping that communication, that environment, he truly cares. So for us, we are constantly trying to look at how do we make decisions today that are going to help retain and grow businesses like Tyonek by supporting future programs. So hangar capacity, apron capacity. Those are the things that we're continuing that conversation and trying to work with the Mississippi legislature or the governor. So things like Gulf Coast restoration funds, things like restore funds, those are the things that our commission, see some of our commissioners out there, we're seeing how we can apply local match to leverage those programs for 2024 to get to us where we need to be by 2026 and beyond. So I think that's our role with local investment and local cash. And then more importantly, Port and Harbor has been committed to the CTAP program and supporting, paying for tuition assistance for every graduating senior to have a direct pipeline to these programs, to these vocational certifications, to try to align with that. And so, and that starts with partnerships at the federal level, and so the state level, many of you may or may not know, from a national defense, whether that's going through Hancock County to get to the moon. But Hancock County's top 3 in the state in terms of defense personnel spending with the Navy. But more importantly, defense contracting. Tyonek's one of the top 5 in the state with defense contracting. So how do we grow those opportunities? How do we retain those existing contractors? And working with our partnerships at the federal level, I think, is where that conversation begins, and fostering that environment and making the right strategic investments in infrastructure and in workforce. So we're doing our job the best we can. And also with staff like Austin and Jeff and Laura and Taylor, our staff works daily on providing a good quality customer service, maintenance, and collaboration at the local level to support operations to, multi-tenant operations. So we're doing our part the best we know how and the best we can. And hopefully we're doing the right today to where we can make it better in the future. So I just want to close in that I think I hear some of the questions, I hear the dialogue, and want to compliment that Ryan's background makes our job easier. Dr. Barnes is no stranger to Hancock County, been around a long time, and post-Katrina. So these pillars of our community, these leaders, make our jobs that much better, and hopefully through all multiple efforts, we'll all be better in 2026, 2025, and beyond. So again, just want to close with that.